it's exactly what happened in, let's take the cosmetics market and the psychological market and the freelance services over the web market. And you should ask yourself, what is the most comfortable and effective service that I can use to give people service beyond just sitting with them in the gym 3 to 4 times a week? Because you should understand that for most people, it will be almost an impossible mission.
Hey, fitness fans, welcome back to the Future of Fitness podcast and interview series. This is your host, Eric Malzone, and this is episode number 99. Can you believe it? 99. And I get to talk to Omri Yoffe. So he's out of Tel Aviv, Israel, and he is one of the founders and developers of an online artificial intelligence trainer. That's right. We're getting into AI. So cleverly, it's just AI flipped around in a mirror. Really interesting. He actually sent me one of the units, and I've been playing around with it. Now it's not really trail running season, but I took it on a bunch of trail runs, and it's really interesting. And the humanization of the app, right? It's not that robotic voice. It's and how it combines with the music I'm listening to or podcasting I'm listening to. It's just fascinating. 10 years ago, who would have thought that this kind of stuff is taking on? And they really focus on hearable technology. So that's something that's really interesting about this podcast is that, all the monitoring, the heart rate, all of those things go through the actual hearable device. So all of that is getting monitored in your ear, right? Which is, to me, a way more effective way, an easier way than wearables traditionally, right? So all this tech is coming together, and we had a really long conversation towards the end. Well, not really long, it's not that long of an interview, but about where it's all going. I think that's a big thought on many people's minds, at least mine. I don't know if everyone thinks like I do, but where is artificial intelligence going, right? The conversation seems to be building in momentum. Like, where is this going? Who's developing? Who's going to have the best AI? What's going to happen when it goes out? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be evil? Whew, man, I don't know. Omri has an extremely positive view of what can happen as artificial intelligence takes control. And this trainer, what they do is just the beginning. The tech is still evolving, and they're finding ways to apply it to everyday Joe and Jane. And it's really cool. So I'm going to let you listen to it, come to your own conclusions. Do me a favor. Let me know what you think about artificial intelligence. Shoot me an email, ericmalzone@fitnessprofessionalonline.com. And I want to know. Yeah, I really do. I'm curious. I like to have some conversations about it and see what people are out there, what they're doing. And if you know anybody else who's deep into this area within the fitness and health and wellness industry, let me know. I would love to interview them and get that content out to you as well. So let's make this a team effort, right? So with that, things like this technology, when I talk about the Fitness Accelerator Group and the momentum that we're building with that and what it means for the industry, this is a big part of it. Technology is a very, very big part of it. And it's part incubator as well. So the Fitness Accelerator community is, is for fitness entrepreneurs. It's for online coaches. It's for everybody who wants to grow their business faster, especially in the online space or in the tech space. So yeah, it's really interesting, the conversations and things I'm seeing, the things I'm working on, and the people I'm talking to, from artificial intelligence to hearables and wearables, of course, to training esport athletes, which will be in the next episode with Taylor Johnson. All kinds of really cool things that are changing in the industry, and you want to be on top of it because that's where the opportunity is, and that's what the Fitness Accelerator is all about. So go check it out. It's the fitnessprofessionalonline.com/fit accelerator. You can get more information there. So again, fitnessprofessionalonline.com/fit accelerator. And without any further ado, let's get on to it. Episode number 99, the last one in double digits, with Omri Yoffe of Trainer. Omri Yoffe, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I'm super excited. And, like we were talking before the recording, what you're doing is so interesting, and it's so relative to the fitness profession. And, many different things are ripe for disruption when it comes to artificial intelligence and the introduction thereof. Obviously we see the obvious ones of, truckers within the United States. People see that any kind of low level service. And I'm sorry, that low level isn't what I meant, but things that aren't highly skilled, seem to be the lowest hanging fruit. But, the fitness profession, and I know that's where your specialty is. So, I'll ask you to stick to that. but give us some updates currently, Omri, on like what are you currently doing and how is it working within the fitness profession?
Sure. So basically, our mission is not to replace humans, but the opposite is to empower them. What we did is we built an AI agent, which is a personal trainer called V, which is basically helping people to achieve their fitness and wellness goals, from losing weight, improving fitness, or doing a mindfulness session in the very near future. And the idea is basically, number one, to give people the ability to have a trainer in their ear and in their phone when they are either at their home or when they have their own constraints, either by traveling or other personal or work stuff, just to train out of the gym or without a personal trainer. But most important, give other service providers, human service providers, such as personal trainers and other healthcare and gym service providers, to be able to use V as an extension and take their own human flavor and human practices and send V to train the actual users. So if we will be wise enough as an industry to connect between the two, we're basically going to, number one, give users a democratized way, a much more cost-effective way to train with a trainer whenever and wherever they want. And number two, join very smart and relevant human service providers that have lots of value in being in the loop, instead of just giving it to a pure software service, to utilize, to look at the information and to retain their users over time.
Wow. So yeah, the thing that strikes me is that, for a lot of fitness professionals, trainers, coaches, such a small percentage of the overall population actually makes it into our gyms, right? Into our exercise facilities. It's a tiny fraction. Most people are just not anywhere near. And that's where I see, and that's why I want your input on this. That's where I see things like V, what you guys are doing, which, you guys seem to be way ahead of most, really making an impact. Getting people off the couch.
Yeah, that's very correct. And in order to do so, as you know better than myself as a real professional in the space, this is, in order to get people motivated, software and intelligence is not enough. You need to show human flavor and fun, engaging content in order to get people off the couch and not to be bored, and to be inspired and triggered to hit their first walk or first 5K or first 500 calories they burn. And we basically did two main big investments. The first is we make sure that V's voice is human enough. So she's what we call imperfect. So she's not a perfect robot that is shooting at you some very accurate prompts. She's using jokes and she's using contextual things that you're doing in real time to show that she truly listens. And obviously, she also gives you the real-time insights you need in order to achieve your workout session. And number two, we have an ability that we call Pass the Mic, that we actually launched 2 weeks ago after 1 year of exploration, which is basically letting V inviting other experts and other trainers into her workout to give people this context of that humans are the ones that are powering her and are the ones that are responsible for the things that she actually tells people. So it's a pretty cool mix that we see that the people are really excited about.
Yeah, interesting. So if you can, let's get a little bit into the technology and explain it to me like the 4-year-old that I am when it comes to technology, because I think the majority of listeners,
No worries.
Yeah, give us some, what you can that we can understand.
So let's start from the end game, not to waste your time with too many details, and then extract from there the 3 basic components.
Okay.
The end game is that currently V is the only real personalized virtual trainer that is able to understand who you are as a user. So what are your BMIs? What is the goal that you chose to do? Where you are in the world? What is the weather around you? What is the music that you like? And so forth. And then curate for you a personalized voice and music session. In other words, me and you will always go through a different session with V. Even if we both of us are choosing a specific workout that is focused on weight loss, both of us will go through a different voice content and music content that is tailored and predicted to give me the most engaging session I can. So that's pretty much the essence of V. And it's an on-demand service that you can use through a phone or through an earphone that you can go and Google out there. Just to make sure you got this one before I drill down into the three main components.
Yeah, I get it. So, let's just say, I have a training partner and we're going to go on a trail run, right?
Yeah.
And we're both using V.
Yeah.
How are the experiences going to be similar? How are they going to be different?
So, starting from the own personal names, channel ways throughout the session, which is small but very very cute. Then she will relate to your very specific stats from previous sessions to current sessions to future sessions that you want to do. So she will give you a very clear sense of progress in terms of your heart rate zones and your step rate and your average time and your personal goals that you're personal records that you're trying to break. So you will see that throughout the sessions, she is real time and very contextual to your own stats and thresholds. And lastly, based on your user type, on your difficulty level and progress level, she will use specific prompts that will be either more, related to, for example, if you are a pro and I'm a beginner, for you, she will give more of a very straightforward, strict things just to keep you within your zones and within your stats. And for me, she will educate me about posture. She will educate me about what is the reason for maintaining a good cadence rate, what is a heart rate zone, and so forth.
Interesting. And it's all done through, like you said, like an app on the phone, or is there a specific hardware that you use?
Correct. And the way we do it, basically based on three main tools. The first, V, is basically profiling who you are. She's connecting to your Health Kit or Google Fit, and she's using chatbot to connect to some data points and understand who you are over time, including Strava and others. Number two, she's building you your own fitness journey. Most of it sits in the cloud. Again, without getting into too many details, a very heavy storage system that understands who you are over time without being too heavy on your phone. And then going to the third layer, once you get into your next session, she's stitching a voice and music session to you, and you need to wait between 10 to 20 seconds until she does it, and you have on your phone a ready session to go for.
Interesting. So, when I'm thinking about this, and the starting point, I would imagine if I sign up and I purchase the service or the product, is it a service or a product?
So basically, we have a service, a free trial and then subscription service on an app, and you can purchase our premium device with Harman Kardon, basically earphone with heart rate and speech recognition, on our vtrainer.com site, and then you can get a 1 year free together with it.
Okay. So if I sign up for the service, I buy the hardware, and then I start maybe a conversation with V talking about what my goals are. Is that right?
That's exactly right. You're getting into a very quick chatbot, like 4 to 5 questions. If you will need more info, she will ask for it, but then you're good to go right after.
Wow. And then I presume the more you use it, the more V gets to know you, right?
Absolutely. It will take her approximately 2 hours to get to know you well in terms of effort zone and so forth.
Yeah.
And she will relate to it, and she says, okay, now that we finished our full calibration, I will be able to be more personalized and accurate.
Yeah, interesting. So if let's go back to this trail running example, because this is just kind of what I do mostly now for exercise. So I'm running. V's giving me updates. Hey, your heart rate's, slow down. Your heart rate's too high. I presume all of that type of stuff's in there. Can I start asking questions like, hey, V, will you change the music, or can you find me a podcast, or what's the weather going to be in the next hour? Like, is that the type of you get?
So you're on spot. It's still not fully there. Again, I cannot share all of the information, but I will be honored to be on your podcast in 2 to 3 months and talk about it again. But it's absolutely on the very near term radar, and you can expect some very, very, very specific features that you just mentioned related to both music and other audio content, such as news and other stuff, so that you can listen on the service itself.
Yeah. Okay. So, you look at like the current, voice, the Alexas of the world.
Yep.
it seems like there's two kind of distinctly different entry points into the AI, right? Alexa has it in the home. Has it, in the fitness realm and health realm. How do these, and this is just my naivety, but how do these things interact? Do they interact, or is that something that you're probably, I would imagine, have thought about 1,000 times and probably working on? But
yeah, so basically we not only that they are not our competitors, the opposite, they are our critical companions, and I will explain. Yeah. Exactly like human service providers need to know how to integrate with each other. Mm-hmm. We will need to know, and already working on it, to be in harmony with the other voice first applications out there. So let's go 10 years back to understand the best analogy. You remember when you first got an iPhone or a smart screen, a touch screen phone, it was very weird for you to understand that there are going to be thousands of apps out there. You basically worked with 2 to 3 and you said, I have my BlackBerry or I have my Windows, and I don't see how 1,000 other players can be in the loop. And it's exactly what's happening on the voice first world as well. We need to work and utilize the Alexas and Siris and Google Assistants of the world for utility and productivity parts. So if you want to ask for your weather, for your music, for your calendar, for translation, and for other parts. And V needs to specialize and to laser focus on being a health and fitness vertical using voice to help you. And basically, I want Alexa and Siri to call V. When a user is asking them, get me a personal trainer or serve me a personal trainer, I want V to be one of the first voice first option that Siri can invite into an Apple Watch or an iPhone experience.
Oh, that's so interesting, man. So I'm going to cut right to the crux of it, because I think if I'm a fitness professional, I hear, I've talked to other people in AI before, and yep. They're very calming and reassuring that, this is something that we need to work with, right? Yep. The overall thought is it's coming, right? You can't, there's no fighting. You can, like social media, people can bitch about it, right? Yep. Everyone's on it, but it's here and it's just part of our lives now. And yep. You need to learn to integrate it with it and use it to your advantage or not. I see a lot of people who are resistant, in the fitness profession. And sure, I think there's always going to be that need for human connection, right? In the fitness profession, that eye-to-eye contact.
Absolutely.
So, if I'm scared as a fitness professional, what this is going to do, should I be? And if so, who in the fitness profession needs to keep an eye out? Because I imagine there's a certain section of the industry that this will eat into. And I'm sure that's not your intention. It's no one's intention. It's just the way things are, right?
So I think that first of all, it's the right of every person to do whatever they want. So we have no intention to dictate anything. From my knowledge and from what I'm seeing out there within the fitness and wellness world, if I were a personal trainer, which is passionate about empowering people to be healthier and happier, which I think this is the core assumption.
Yep.
I would basically look for the best technologies that I feel comfortable that can empower and populate and distribute my human practices and my human values. By the way, it's beyond practices. It's not less about what do I believe that will make people most engaged. What do I mean by doing fitness? Is it just losing 10 kilograms more? Or it's about just a more of a balanced, empowered way of living. So if you will focus on which technologies can help you not replace and replicate what you do in a pre-recorded way, but basically help you to take the same practices you do, but touch people in a virtual way as well, I think that you have an amazing opportunity, even bigger than you think. Mainly if you're a good trainer, you can reach out to millions of people or to thousands of people, if you will.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what happened in, let's take the cosmetics market and the psychological market and the freelance services over the web market. And I can go with examples. I think that those people that identified the power of those digital channels, not only that they weren't replaced, they were able to inspire others to do the same, that touched more and more people out there. So you should look for the right partners, I would say. And I hope that there will be more partners like V. We're not going to be the only in the world. And you should ask yourself, what is the most comfortable and effective service that I can use to give people service beyond just sitting with them in the gym 3 to 4 times a week? Because you should understand that for most people, it will be almost an impossible mission.
Yeah, I agree. Because we only get, as fitness professionals, maybe we get people for 4, maybe 5 hours a week,
Yeah.
But all that other time is really when health is improved upon or hurt, right? I mean, for lack of better terms there, it's, it's not what people do in the gym, it's what they do outside of it. And I think this is the advantage of EV, and where I'm extremely optimistic. I think it's great. I think I think this will help merge the fitness medical industries and really come together into a more comprehensive way of improving health of our community.
Yeah, and we call it the other 23 hours. Basically, imagine that you can either train with someone, even 1 week, 1 hour is a week, because not all people can come to the gym 3 to 4, but you can, first of all, see their overall daily activities is beyond the session itself. You can text and communicate with them, and you can ask V to do specific things with them that you can physically can't. You cannot make sure that you're pacing them or helping them achieve their daily goals. And if you see that they didn't, you can always reach out as a human using voice and text to communicate with them. So it's a very interesting relationship between an AI agent that sits with them all day long and you that is getting flags and triggers once you need to, to kick in with your accountability and human aspect.
Yeah, interesting. So, if I'm listening to this and I'm a forward-focused entrepreneurial fitness professional, and I'm like, I see opportunity here, right?
Yeah.
Well, what's the first step? What can I start doing today to start being part of it and not resisting it?
So first of all, we are on our very subjective end. We are now opening a program to work with personal trainers and to basically start piloting what we call Pass the Mic and the type of CRM system, if you will, that is giving trainers the ability to communicate with V. And second, I think that, just go out there. I don't want to give too many names, but I think you will go out there, you will see that there are some okay tools, at least on the management level, so you can manage your users remotely, and then use some trackers together. So we're not the only ones. This is what I'm trying to say. And if people would like, they're more than welcome to reach out to our site, to vtrainer.com. Just send us an email, and we always get back with people with some ideas how to collaborate. And other than that, you can just Google some emerging solutions. It's not there yet from what we see out there in the market, but I'm sure that there will be more great players that will help us to bring this new experience to the market.
Awesome. So, Omri, about 3 years ago, I read the book, Ray Kurzweil's The Singularity is Near. Are you familiar?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually, I joined the Singularity program, was invited with V to one of the first Singularity programs back in 2012. So we know it well.
Yeah, awesome. So for people who don't know, what is the Singularity? That book blew my mind, right? It really set me on a course to essentially what we're doing right now, because I'm so intrigued by it. And I feel like, it's so off the radar for so many people, yet it's so near. Right. So what is the singularity?
So basically, singularity is a singular point that is based on current estimations aimed to approximately 2039, which is a intersection or unification point between computers and humans. In other words, currently you see lots of attempts to create artificial intelligence tools, from software to mechanical engineering and hardware tools, that is basically trying to replicate human mimics and human practices in a technological way. It relates obviously to robots that you see out there. It relates to specific components, medical and others, that are being replaced in human bodies in order to be to live more and to be more safer or healthier. And it relates to human intelligence that is being replaced or empowered, different types of machine and deep learning tools that are as good as humans in terms of taking decisions. You probably saw the different types of AI games that AI are beating humans in chess and other parts and so forth. And basically the singularity point, it means that those vectors are going to be so advanced and so natural and so accurate to a level that you will look at a machine and it will be fully human. It will be fully human at an extent of how you see humans today, which is pretty concerning in a way, because it bears lots of risks and lots of uncontrolled and unregulated risks over there. I can get into details if you want to.
Yeah, man. Give me all the details.
If we want to get into the bummer phase, but it's basically, it's about safety and the risk of giving robots the ability to harm humans without even intending to do so as humans. But I believe, I'm very optimistic because I think that humans proved in the past that they are able to regulate and control very risky technologies that were created. Yeah. There will always be evil. There will always be, political and military stuff that we need to make sure that we can gate. But this is pretty much the singularity point, and it will bring a very interesting new era of new creatures that we will need to work with. Yeah. And I'm not getting into my own philosophical view on it because we don't have time and it's less of the topic for today. But on an objective way, this is pretty much the singularity point.
Yeah, interesting. And it's, I think about it every day. I'm sure you do too. Because, you look at any technology, really anything, and it all starts with the military, right? And then eventually trickles down. And I think that's the thing is, what I'm sure, I've read about, the AI race, it's kind of like the arm race, the nuclear race, that people, the space race, things like that. And whoever controls the best AI will have the most power. And hopefully that lands in the hands of the right people, right?
Yeah.
When you look at it, and I know we don't want to get too much off the topic of V here, but when you look at it, what's your personal feeling? Are you very optimistic? Are you fearful? Are you just kind of waiting to see you control it anyway?
It's not that I'm over optimistic. There are huge risks over here, but I am optimistic in general because again I feel that we have enough smart, powerful people that are behind those technologies and that understand that they care not only about money. At the end of the day, they want them and their families and their, our era to stay. So I am optimistic, and I think that people tend to look at it from it will take much more time, and we have 10, 15 years at least to regulate things and look at them from a sober way. And this it goes. And again, our goal, just to be clear, we are laser focused on doing what we do best in a very, very way. Every time we wake up in the morning, we remember that we're building technology for humans and not instead of humans. And we have a slide, one of our main, if you'll see our 10 slides presentation. So there's a slide called Made by Trainers for Trainers. And I think it tells the story of how we see life and how we see the technology that we're creating.
Awesome. So from my understanding that, out in Israel, you guys are really one of the leaders in artificial intelligence, in a relatively small population, compared to the United States and all that. Why is that? What's the background on that? Why did that take place?
So again, I'm really trying to simplify the story. Basically, Israel is a very interesting melting pot situation, which is a word for an Israeli word for being very blunt, very straightforward, and to override challenges or politeness to get things done. And just the culture itself is a very open-minded, entrepreneurial one. So this is one think that if you will visit Tel Aviv and Israel, you will see a very, very, very interesting culture around innovation, number one. And number two, the fact that all of us are doing national service by all means. So every single person needs to go either to the military or to other national services, basically train people to be very mature and equipped with skill sets and specific professional service skill set, including software and technology. So you're getting young, capable people at the age of a college fresh man in the U.S. after a career of 3 to 4 years with a real life challenges and real life failures and so forth. So those two things I think are the two main catalysts. So the culture itself and the journey that the young person is going through till he's or she is 21 or 22.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. So, I was watching one of your keynote presentations before this recording, just to get a feel for all the things that you do. And you had mentioned, we've heard about voice, we've heard about wearables, but you mentioned hearables, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk to us about what that is.
So hearables is pretty much the most exciting form factor or device of the next decade. I'm saying it with a pretty high confidence. Yeah. And the reason I say that is that we have pretty much exhausted. We know what we can extract in a good way from a smartphone and from a smartwatch. Apple did a beautiful work in the last few years of showcasing what could be done from the wrist in terms of user interface, notifications, and other parts, but also physiological tracking. But the interesting part that there's an untapped another location in our body, which is the inner ear, for two reasons. The first is physiology. This is by far the most almost invasive, rich physiological place in our body, much more than the wrist area, which much less motion artifacts as well. So you can extract different parameters such as heart rate and heart rate variability at a very high accuracy, saturation, core temperature if you're static and not moving, EEG, which is brain waves in 4 different wavelengths, which is a super interesting domain. And I can go with a few examples. And second is voice interface, basically the ability to have a hands-free, eyes-free interface with a computer, V or Alexa or other voice agents that you need to work with. And basically, with no need to interfere with the environment, you're getting the interface to yourself and the ability to communicate using voice, that in a function and a use case where it has tons of other activities that we didn't start to utilize. And it enables new type of devices that are not only earphones, which you need to listen to some cool audio, but basically using sensors and other gestures that people are going to utilize. And you look at the AirPods as one out of a few other attempts. You're going to see more and more hearables or smart hearables, as we call them, that is being launched and adding more and more use cases on top of them.
Wow. And how is your technology using hearables? How does it relate to V?
So basically, we started from focusing on the biosensing part. The first product that we launched was together with Harman Kardon, a very successful premium audio brand. Mm-hmm. And what we did is we equipped the device. You can go and Google it at vtrainer.com. You will see heart rate and gyrometer for full posture analysis, ambient temperature, elevation to understand steps and flights, speech recognition at a very high level, and so forth. So we provided like an overkill hearable device with all of those sensors. Number two, we recently acquired a company called Skybuds, based in New York, with an IP that is focused on utilizing context from the ear. So basically using other audio devices as well that can help us to understand what the user is doing now, if they have earphones in their ear or not, so we know that we have captive audience to recommend some workout content, to understand where they are from a GPS perspective and so forth.
Wow. Oh God, I want to get my hands on one of these things. So
we'll send you one. Send us your address and we'll send you a demo.
Done.
No worries.
I'm doing it right now as we're speaking.
Okay, go for it.
Omri, what, I'm curious from you in a personal standpoint, how how did you get into this? On your day-to-day basis, how is AI or technology involved in your life? Do you have an Alexa? Do you have a self-driving car? Like, I imagine you living on
No,
a spaceship,
no, I'm not, man. Trust me. I don't want to disappoint you. Very far from it. Basically, I'm, at least personally, I'm less of a gadget guy. Like, I don't like to use technology for the sake of coolness or, technology just to showcase some cool features.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually use technology in areas that can help me to be a more productive, better human being, if you will. So I do use voice services on a very, very specific thing, mainly for texting. So if I want to send someone text or send a memo using voice, it's usually the most convenient for me.
Mm-hmm.
I do not use in-home Alexa or Google due to privacy. I'm pretty concerned from the fact, I know, without getting into details, but I'm aware of some of the things that some of those guys are doing to just to record, not for a negative level, but they need to record your surroundings, voices, in order to understand your state and what are you trying to say over time and so forth. So I'm a little bit concerned on the privacy level over there, but once I will be convinced that there is no privacy issues, I will get a voice agent into home as well.
Yeah, that's always the current. I literally once a week I think about buying an Alexa, and then I don't for that particular reason. Because you just obviously there's stories that have come out in the court cases about it recording when people didn't know it was recording, and then can that information and recording be used in a testimony in court? It's just the issue that seems to be prevalent is that technology is advancing so fast that regulation doesn't have a snowball chance in hell of
Absolutely
keeping up with it, right?
Absolutely, and it only means that we are humans. We need to trigger our common sense and to learn about the things that we're using in terms of who is gathering our data, what do they do with it, what will I be able to do or not do with it in 15, 20 years from now. So it's very crucial as consumers, exactly as you learn to read the warranties or the guidebooks and the stuff that you bought 5 years ago. Same goes for privacy. It's something that before approving your terms and conditions, I won't recommend all of us to just to better understand the context behind it.
Yeah. Well, no one reads the privacy statements.
That's correct. That's correct.
I've never once read. I just sign off, and I'm sure it's designed to do that exactly, right? Yeah. So, 30 years from now, Omri, is it going to be a perfect world where we all have a universal income and AI and bots do everything for us, or is it going to be Terminator? What do you think?
I would go for something a bit different. I would say that in terms of abundance and convenience, it's going to be an over-convenient world. I'm not sure it's a good thing on the human level, but on the functional, beneficial, abundance level, we're going to be in the most abundant time of our era, and basically technology and computers and resources are going to provide everything we need to be safe and to be healthy and to reach on demand basically everything we're trying to achieve on a material level, but also on the the VR world is going to bring some pretty creepy and exciting stuff for good and bad.
Yeah.
So this is on the abundance level. On the human level, maybe I'm wrong, but I still, I don't see us. I think we're going to have the same human issues, of inconfidence and of just the passion and fears and ambitions and all of those beautiful imperfect human things are going to stay, and we're just going to experience them in a different theme. But we're not going to change as humans. 30 years is not a long time in terms of biology-wise, You're not going to evolve into a whole new creature. So it's going to be very interesting to see how pretty much the same type of human being we are now is going to deal with a super advanced technology. But as we did again, in the past, I think humanity showed that we can deal with some serious difficulties. So I do believe that we will face this one as well.
Yeah. Well, I admire your confidence, man. I do.
It's optimism. I'm not sure it's overconfidence, but I prefer to be optimistic, and it's not always good, but it's that's the way I choose living.
Yeah. It's interesting, and just a quick side note before I kind of get to some final questions for you, but I've noticed that the more aware, up to date, and intelligent people are, the more there's kind of an underlying sense of anxiety.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We're faced with a lot of anxiety, and especially here in the States, a lot of anxiety, depression. And I think a lot of it is due to overall health, right?
Yep.
Bad nutrition, but I think there's a percentage of it that people are simply just aware that things are changing so darn fast that maybe you don't feel it in your day to day, but you can sense it. And I think, that sometimes in a weird way keeps me awake, but I'd rather talk about and think about it than just kind of bury my head in the sand and say, it's going to be what it's going to be. But maybe that's the healthier way. I don't know.
So, first of all, I think we are, as mentioned, I don't think that we're facing the same. If you'll go to World War II or other extreme human events, I can assure you that people went through, I think, bigger difficulties and anxieties. Some of them were more physical, maybe some of them were more, contained in a specific time. But what I'm trying to say is that it's just different times, and we need to adapt and to find the new tools to face those type of new anxieties, as you call them. And with that said, I think that we need to, the mindfulness world and mind training world and nutrition, as you mentioned, and sleep training, and all of those tools, the battle becomes much more mind and mental related than physical one.
Yeah.
And I think that exactly if you are a good personal trainer, and I know you are, and a wellness and fitness expert overall, I'm sure that you're thinking about and already adding those type of software training parts into other people.
Yep.
And this is my warm advice. I see lots of executives and thought leaders and just, great people out there that understood that without those missing tools, maybe they will have great cardiac activities and they will have good metabolism, but their mind will get them crazy, And so they need to invest similar time on that space. I can tell you about myself that I'm not there yet. It's something that is new to me in the last few years, but I'm trying to work on it as well. And that's my 2 cents to people. Try not to, exactly as you say, bury your head in the sand and say, wow, the world is going crazy, but try to adapt and find new tools to deal with so much information and so much noise, and to find the quiet, focused areas that can allow you to relieve this muscle and to train it better.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And just in my own life, I picked up, after I sold my facility last year, I picked up, my wife and I have been traveling, and mostly in very remote areas and just beautiful aspects of nature. And I think all it takes sometimes is just a disconnected walk in nature. Nature is the most amazing television you got. It's better than Netflix, and I think it could be as simple as just going the opposite way every once in a while and just really enjoying the disconnectedness when you can get it.
Yeah. I don't disagree. The opposite.
Yeah. So, Omri, my final question, I know you kind of alluded to it earlier, but if I'm a fitness professional, I'm listening right now.
Yeah.
What can I do as soon as I'm done listening to this interview? What is the first thing that I should go do to start incorporating?
I think that you should first, most important, get into the notion that in 5 years from today, the assumption that people will keep going either toward the current way of personal training and or gym is not going to disappear, but is going to change. And you need to slightly and thoughtfully ask yourself, and it's a very subjective thing, based on your practices and based on your audience of clients, how can I add and educate myself and my customers with new tools, very basic ones, that can keep us in touch when they're not with me physically, and then take it from there. And and test and fail. Don't be afraid from testing something. Set expectations with your client. Get some friends or some family members to do some pilots with them, and try to build on top of it those type of tools. And again, we are here to help. It's beyond business. Anything that people think that we can help them, we are more than happy to hear and more than happy to enforce as if we can help other trainers to scale or to evolve into this next phase.
Awesome. So, Omri, where do people find you? Where do people find V?
So you can go to vtrainer.com.
Okay.
V, it's VI trainer, it's trainer, no space, .com. And you can reach me anytime at my personal email. It's omri@vtrainer.com. Email me anytime, and we will find the right people to contact you, and we can jump on a call and take it from there.
Awesome, man. Yeah, how exciting. I mean, I can't imagine how exciting your world is on a day-to-day basis. And just talking to you, I get excited about it. I just want to go.
Awesome.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm going to go bug my wife right now. I'll be like, I just talked about artificial intelligence for an hour. And she's going to look at me like, go back.
I appreciate it. And we're grateful to have people like you are giving us the fuel to keep pushing. It's a very tough mission. It's an uphill battle, but it's truly awesome to hear it. And we're only starting, as you said. So it's I'm sure that we're going to speak soon again.
Yeah, awesome. All right, Omri, thank you for coming on, man. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Sure thing. Same here. Bye-bye.
Hey, fitness fans, don't leave yet. It's your host, Eric Malzone, and I have a quick favor to ask. Actually, 3 favors. So, number 1, if you're a fan of our show, I ask you to do something that takes under 3 minutes. Go to iTunes, please, and subscribe to our show. Please, please, please. It means so much to us. It's so important. And then give us a favorable review. We would really, really appreciate it. And I can't tell you how much it means and helps us out. So I know it takes 2 minutes of your day, and it means a lot to us. So please do that. Number 2, go to our YouTube channel, or Fitness Marketing Alliance, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel there. Number 3, if you like this episode or any of the episodes that we've released, share it on social. That's huge. That's a big deal for us. And we put a lot of work into these episodes, trying to give you great actionable content for the fitness industry. So that would mean a lot. And that's it. So we have some big plans coming up for this show. I'll be talking about that in the next couple episodes, but thank you so much for listening. It means so much. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I love to hear from everybody. Eric, ERIC @fitnessmarketingalliance.com.